Okay, here goes. I'm not really sure how to start this, to be honest. This is going to be very yappy and unstructured. It's been about 1.5 years since I first put myself out there online in a consistent manner, primarily on LinkedIn. And it's been about almost 30 days that I have been posting consistently on my Instagram. And I, for a few weeks, have been wanting to film a video on how I got here and almost like a reflection on 2026 so far. And I've sat down a few times and I've tried to articulate myself as succinctly as I can. And I just haven't been able to do that. And I think it's because what I want to share is a little bit longer than 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. And I thought, okay, let me just sit down and see if I can get this up in a slightly longer format, because it is something that I want to share. I think 2026 has been a really strange year for me. And I think it has for a lot of people. I think a lot of people are digitally fatigued. I think a lot of people are really craving more time offline, and a lot of people are really struggling with the demands of work and trying to balance that with living. And so I recognize it's been a difficult year for many people for various different reasons. And for me, I feel 2026 has been largely, so far at least, I've been grieving this identity that I have had, or a part of my identity that I've had for as long as I can remember. And I think that at the very start of 2026, I started to go through this process of shedding that identity and like letting go of that identity. And I think I'm still going through it. I don't think I have completely come out the other side, but I think I've realized a lot of things. I've let go of certain things, and I feel like I'm closer to coming out of it. And I guess this started further back than at the start of 2026. In end of October 2024, I made the decision to leave a company that I had helped build from the ground up. And that was a difficult decision, but I definitely felt like it was the right decision for me. And I decided to start my own venture, let's call it that. I wanted to work for myself, let's say freelance. I wanted to work with different clients, and I just kind of wanted to figure out what it was that I wanted to do. But I knew that I wanted more freedom. I wanted more control over my time. I wanted more control over the type of work that I did and who I got to do that work with as well. And so I guess that was the first step in my realizing that I wanted something different. I didn't want to hustle anymore. I was exhausted. I was very, very burnt out, and something needed to change. And I guess if we fast forward from there till January 2026, I read a book called Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport. And so much of that book resonated with me deeply. And I realized that I was really struggling with being connected so much. I was really struggling with this constant pressure that I felt to be online constantly and to be available to everyone all the time and to be constantly pushing. I started picking away at this part of my identity where I thought of myself as a really hardworking person who had to keep moving forward and keep growing and keep taking on more, because that's how I deemed myself valuable and worthy. That was where like my worth and my value came from. And so the last 8 months or so, I think I have been trying to disentangle that from who I am. And I've really started to question what it is I want from life and what is a good life, what that looks like to me, what that feels like to me. And I think what I have settled on is that I want a relatively simple life where I feel peaceful, I feel content. I don't want unnecessary, excessive stuff like I used to think I wanted. I want time with loved ones. I want time for myself. I want the freedom to do the things that I want to do when I want to do them. And I think I realized that I value quiet and a slower pace of life more than I thought I did. And I was born in London, I was raised in London, and I've only ever lived in major cities. Outside of London, I've lived in Beirut and Dubai. But I think as I've gotten a little bit older and moved into maybe a different season in my life, I have been craving a slower paced life. And I think there still is guilt that I feel with saying that I want to slow down and I don't want to constantly be grinding and hustling. And I think that guilt, I understand where it comes from. And I think it's hard because largely it was how I was raised. And it's, I guess, pressures around me. It's the pressure from like the culture that I come from and like the society around me, where we put so much value on people who work themselves into the ground, and hustling and burnout is still very much glorified. And I think burnout is still seen as a byproduct of success, a necessary byproduct of success. And so I know where it comes from, and I also recognize that it's quite difficult to break down and to kind of shed that. And I think I'm going through that process, but I'm definitely still not there. I think I still do struggle, and I still think I find it hard to say out loud, to say online, to say to you that I don't want to hustle and I want time and space to read my books and to write and to take ballet classes and to spend time with loved ones. And yeah, I think there's a lot of guilt that comes with that. But what I have realized and what I have come to understand is that you can love your work and be passionate about your work and be great at your work, but still want other things. And I wish someone had told me that 7 years ago when I entered the workforce and I started, because the only examples I had were people who were hustling and grinding and talking about not sleeping and not having time for relationships and not being able to pour into friendships and all of this stuff. And I thought that was normal. I thought that was the price that you pay for success. But I disagree. I think that success is relative and we each get to define that for ourselves, but no one tells us that. There's this like very tight model of what success looks like, and often the things that we want, but perhaps are too afraid to say we want, don't coincide with that model of success. And so for me, what I've had to do this year is get really clear on what success looks like and feels like to me, and go after that and say no to the things that go against that or will take me away from that version of success and that version of a good life that I want for myself. But it's not easy, and I go back and forth with myself in my head, and I'm like, oh, maybe I'm just deluded, and maybe, the way forward is to just like work yourself into the ground. But I think that there's so much more, there has to be so much more to life than just working yourself to the ground and not being able to do the things that you really enjoy outside of your work, because I love my work and I'm so passionate about it, and I'm really, really good at what I do. But I also love books and I love reading fiction. And recently I love reading fantasy. I also have a deep, deep, deep love for ballet, and I feel so grateful that I found my way back to ballet as an adult earlier this year, and I've been dancing now for 6 months, and I cannot put into words the joy and the joy that it brings me. And that has nothing to do with my career. It's just something that genuinely feeds my soul. And I love spending time with my friends, my sister, my brother-in-law, my partner, my dog. There are so many things that I want to do outside of my work. And I don't think that that should mean that I love my work less, or I care about my work less, or I can't be as good at what I do. I think it just makes me human. And I think it's bizarre that we've been led to believe that we have to, kill ourselves trying to work and trying to be successful, when I just don't think that that is the case. And so I don't really know what else to say, to be honest. I guess I'm trying to explain more, or I'm trying to share more of this journey that I'm going through. And I'm trying to, I guess, practice what I'm trying to teach others, which is, number one, you have to get really clear on what it is you want. And then once you are, you can build structures around you, around your work, around your life, to ensure that you can do the things that you want to do. And this is especially true for people who are self-employed, freelancers, business owners. That is primarily who I work with, because that's the kind of world, the industry that I come from. Not the industry, but that's the world that I come from. And I think for a very long time, I didn't think that the sort of life that I have was possible. But it very much is so. So I'll leave you with that. I don't really have very much more to say, and I don't really know if I'm going to do anything with this, but I just felt like I wanted to kind of share this, and maybe it resonates with you, maybe it doesn't. But I guess for selfish reasons, this little yap or spiel or chat is something that I wish I had a few years back, when I was working so hard. I wasn't doing anything else. I was just working and getting my steps in while taking meetings. And I was very successful by society's standards. But I was really, really unhappy. And I think at the end of the day, we are the only people that have to live with our decisions, the decisions we make, the decisions we don't make. And so I think we owe it to ourselves to find the time and find the space to really sit down and think deeply about what it is we want our lives to look like, and then do what we can to get closer to that vision we have for ourselves.